Hello, and welcome to the podcast that discusses all things gaming. Coming to you from the home of Indie PopCon, Gen Con, and the gaming capital of the world, we are the Established Facts.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 168 of the Established Facts.
What just happened?
He puked all over his microphone.
I did. The spikes on the thing are going, it looks like a tachydacardiogram. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You have to say that before the doctor shows up.
Right,
so
yeah, and that's why I took it slow.
And you said it as a question.
Yeah, I did. Tachydacardiogram?
That's how students answer if they don't know if they're right.
Exactly. What's the thing that goes beep? Beep.
Pong.
Hopefully a little bit more frequently than what you're doing, but yeah.
It depends on if they're drugged or not. Beep, 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 beep. So, on episode 168 of the Established Facts, we are going to discuss solo gaming versus co-op group gaming. Now, what I mean by that is that when you look at the back of a video game and it says co-op, it normally will say co-op 2 or usually co-op 2 to 4.
I thought it said coop, like how many people need to be in the room to play it.
Oh, no. So, the definition is solo grind for, wow, Lance.
I thought it just said cope.
Solo
Cope.
gaming cope. Versus, at least we're awake on this episode.
Apparently.
I wouldn't say that.
Solo gaming versus 2 to 4 player gaming. So the size of what would be like a cooperative team on a game of some kind, 2 to 4. So one person, 2 to 4. We have it. I've said it like 4 times.
We got it.
Legend of Zelda.
They don't know who we are
versus
yet, but
Super Mario Brothers versus Super Mario Brothers 2.
So Legends of Zelda versus Dragon Age.
sure.
No, that's still
Oh.
solo, isn't
I was
it?
going to say Legend
That's
of Zelda
solo with
versus
group.
Super
It
Smash
can be
Bros?
with group.
No,
Super
'cause
Smash
that's-
Okay,
Brothers.
so cooperatively, when you're speaking about Mario, the Super Mario Wii games were more cooperative than anything up to it because they were always like one player goes and then the next player goes.
Does it have
It
to be
was until the Wii game where you had
We're talking
multiple
Gauntlet.
people. Gauntlet is a good
That's
option.
a perfect example.
Unreal Tournament.
Oh, jeez. Yes. That's perfect,
Gauntlet's
Lance.
perfect.
Zelda, Gauntlet.
Done. I can leave the podcast now. I've said my smart thing.
So they have to be cooperative?
No, but I'm
order to
saying
be-
up to 4 player.
Oh.
2 to 4
gotcha.
player versus solo.
Yeah, but cooperative versus competitive is a
I'm
whole
gonna
other thing.
stab
I'm just saying.
Well, like
People.
Mortal Kombat, it's a 2-player game, but it's
That is
competitive.
true. That is true.
Or Tekken.
Tekken can be 4 players because Tekken Tag.
Yeah, but you're also fighting against someone. So is it cooperative or is it competitive?
Hey, Donald, you know we
There's
haven't,
board games.
we haven't introduced ourselves yet either.
We haven't even gone through the intro.
Wait, did you hit Control S?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good.
Is the metronome off?
It is now. He just
All right. Let's go ahead and introduce this rowdy bunch of rebels. Almost an alliteration. We'll start to my right.
This is
As I look at my brother who's sitting to my left.
this is Josh.
I am Lance, and I may or may not also turn into Deb later.
Uh-oh. I don't know.
It's 2018. I'm Josh.
Oh.
I'm Prime, actually.
Don't
Why?
pigeonhole me into your gender fluid pigeonholes.
Hey, I don't assume.
And I am your reluctant host, Big Don.
He's really reluctant.
I am. So
He's reticent. Even.
I'm red anyway.
Red shirt.
Red shirt. I am wearing a red vest.
Sweater vest.
It still counts. It's a vest.
It's a sleeveless shirt.
It's a sleeveless shirt.
Yeah.
And it's warm and cozy. Anyway,
Uh-huh.
And you're wearing
versus
a tie
topic
under it.
is solo gaming versus 2 to 4 player gaming. I'm just going to leave it at that. We can define in discussion later. Do you prefer to play the solo
with yourself
Yeah, do you like to play with yourself
or with others,
or potentially with other people? At least one other person.
cooperatively?
Who are we starting with? Me?
Sure.
Solo.
Small co-op.
I would love to say co-op, but it happens so rarely I end up playing more single games.
Well, but it's what you prefer.
I do prefer co-op.
Okay, so you're a co-op guy.
Yeah.
Awesome. I also prefer co-op. So what do we got? 3 co-ops and 1 single?
I have a feeling that if my wife were sitting here, she'd probably say single as well.
I would probably agree with that.
So
as
future
much-
Deb.
But I could be wrong. We'll ask her when she gets here.
Yeah, that's fine. She is currently tending to child. And why I said it like that, I'm not really
It's
sure.
all right. She's
Because
amazing at
you're
it.
creepy.
She's currently tending to child.
How interesting.
Solo game unto
Also,
itself.
if you can't tell listeners, but he's twirling his mustache a la Snidely Whiplash.
Yes. What?
It's a good laugh.
Thanks. Can you tell I have an improv gig tonight?
Apparently.
Yeah.
Oh, you do?
I'm warming up. Yeah.
By the time you listen to this, it'll be in the past.
2 weeks ago.
I may still have one tonight.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Yeah. Yeah, get on the bus. What's up, Bart, dude? Duff man. Duff man. Yeah. Oh my gosh, what is happening to us?
I don't know.
It's because we're 4 dudes at a table.
You need some
Well, yes, Deb,
Uh-oh.
please save us. Okay.
Estrogen has just entered the room.
Oh God.
Who said solo? I forget even what is this podcast. Where
I
am
said solo.
That's what I thought.
Han. Solo.
Of course, Prime would be solo. Solo.
A Star Wars story.
Deb,
He shot
since
first.
you're at the table,
I am. If you hear odd
Solo?
sounds, it's not me. It's my
Oh,
my
that-
child
yeah,
over
you
here.
Sure it is.
so the versus topic.
We've been hearing odd sounds since we started this podcast.
It's true. Most of them coming from this table.
Oddly enough, yes.
Mostly from my mouth.
So the versus topic
Yes.
is what you prefer between solo gaming and small group
Skywalker Gaming.
gaming, like co-op gaming, which would be 2 to 4 player.
What I prefer would be solo gaming.
Okay.
Boom,
So
I
we have
got a buddy.
2 for solo.
Solo gaming.
3.
I would've
I can
minded-
do co-op.
I wouldn't have
but-
minded being alone.
No, you don't.
Well,
mind
yeah,
that.
because that makes sense.
You don't mind
Solo gaming, you would, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Right in my element.
Why do you like solo gaming, Josh?
Because I don't like anyone. No, honestly.
I don't like people.
Oh,
Well, then why are you on this podcast? What are you doing here?
No, honestly, from my experience, especially when it comes to console, especially when it comes to platform gaming in general, I feel like the solo games tend to have a deeper storyline to them, and I'm all about storyline. So, yep.
What?
So, yep.
Drop the mic and walk away. Okay.
Storyline is key.
Got it.
So what about games that have the like game like what is the name of that game?
Mario?
No.
Solitaire.
Hate
12 different games got shouted out.
Army of 2.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Army of 2 is a co-op game.
Army of Two is like one of those unique co-op games.
Diamond in the rough.
The diamonds.
thank you, Jafar.
No, but yeah, I mean, I think that one's cool and all, but I mean, for the most part, I would say as a general standpoint, I would prefer solo because you're not relying on anyone but your own skills.
Okay.
So if you win a game, then you can say that you were the one who won the game, not we. So if you lose the game, you know that the only person to blame is yourself because you had nobody who failed you.
The computer
So,
cheated.
Well, and the computer cheats. That's true.
yeah,
Everybody knows the computer cheats.
everyone.
Deb,
Yes.
why solo gaming?
So when you have a group, even if it's only 2 people, it's still an adventure. But when you have a group, you have to coordinate your plan of attack when you're in a game. Figure out what your strategy is going to be, tactics, and everybody's going to handle that a little differently. And so I have seen some cooperative games that looked like they were turning into PvP because no, we're going to do it this way. No, this is the way that's going to win it. We're going to do it this way. And the other person in the corner is like, I just wanted to play a game, and they're crying. Whereas if it's you by yourself, you can decide on your own strategy. You know how you're going to handle it. You don't have to worry about arguing with the 3 other people in your group of how you're going to do it. You'd spend 15 minutes about that one play, really. Goodness gracious. So there's less coordination, less possibility of fighting with your partners. And I do like relying on myself. I'm kind of with Prime in that. I'm introvert and I'm a thinker, so I want to see if I got the skills to be able to do this myself. And if I can't figure it out, well, I'll come around and I'll try it again and I'll figure it out a second time, type of a thing. So I grew up playing solo games, your Mario games, and you're watching my brothers play the Metal Gear games, which, you're literally an army of one when you're in Metal Gear. So yeah, I think that's why. Don't have to worry about the coordination and possible infighting that happens.
Okay.
With a group.
Okay. Couple questions real quick. How would you define the efforts of a cooperative game where you are still celebrating the progress of the individual, such as a Super Mario game, Super Mario World, where you are like the original Super Mario?
Yeah.
You were both players were playing through the same levels, but you're playing through them individually. So one player could be on World 5 while the other player's still on World 1. Do you consider those types of games to be like true cooperative, or are they just a 2-player solo grind? Or
They're
closer to that.
Yeah, I would say they're 2-player solo grind because
what I do
becomes
doesn't
almost-
affect
It's a
what you do.
one-player game.
Yeah.
You just happen to be
2
player
players
2.
playing it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
sorry,
at that
Prime, I didn't
point
interrupt.
it's more of a competition of okay, well I've got to make sure that I live so that I can be,
who's going to finish first?
So, yeah.
Versus Okay.
Because what I do is not going to impact, help, or harm what Prime does. Let's say that we're playing it together. I can't, make his job easier. I can't make his job worse based upon what I do. So to me, that's still solo, as opposed to some of the newer Mario games when that is, to me, that was actually cooperative. The one where you can have all 4 of you in the same world, and I jump on his head to be able to get up there, only he wasn't there when I needed to be, and so I missed and I fell in the lava instead. And so to me, that's cooperative, and this has happened many, many times.
that game stresses my wife and I.
like
Thank
whenever
you,
I play
thank
with
you.
your kids.
Yeah, my 8-year-old and 6-year-old
Yeah.
love to play.
Bubble up, bubble up. Oh, you didn't bubble up, and now you're
or
dead. and you're the only
everybody
one-
bubbles up at the same
Same
time, and you all die.
And you all die.
Or,
Oh, yes.
or everyone bubbles up and it's just me playing, and then I fall and everyone dies. And
Right.
everyone
Right.
loses because I
Yeah.
died.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that,
It
to me, that's cooperative because
stresses me
Thank you.
out to
Is
watch
this
them
just-
play those games.
there's my example.
Friendship
Right
killer
there.
games.
Yes.
Friendship killer game.
I'm like, Joey, why aren't you going in the tube?
Right.
I didn't want to go into the tube,
tube.
but Danny's going in the tube. You need to go into the tube.
Exactly. You gotta follow your brother.
And that's why. That is why, right there.
That is so funny.
And so, yes, to me, that's cooperative with the good or the bad. Now, there could be some great moments, like that was perfect, but it seems like the bad moments beat the good moments out.
Sure.
Like, why did you do that? All you had to do was jump. You had one job
Right.
to jump, and you
So-
didn't jump.
So what you might say is you enjoy reveling in your own solo success than having to share the glory with a teammate.
Oh yeah, like I said, I hate everyone.
Well,
so,
it's not as much share the glory for me. It is that I'm not dying as a result of you.
Right. If I
You
die,
didn't
it's
kill
my
me.
own
It's my
fault.
own silly fault, not
can't
you
look at-
killing me.
You can't look at your partner and go, "Thanks,
Exactly.
Thanks for that.
Thanks.
Thank you."
Yeah, I only had one life left.
Why do
and
I
that
feel
was
like
it.
you were legitimately looking at me and saying, like, as if we were just playing a game together? You're like, thanks.
Uh-huh.
Along this line of questioning, is there a game like you guys are talking about, where you share the lives. So if one person dies 6 times and you only have 7 lives, person 2 can only die once.
That would be even worse.
There are games like that.
I think there are, but I'm trying to
Is
remember.
like, if I remember Contra, is Contra not like that? Or does,
I don't remember.
No, I don't know.
I'm trying to remember. There is a game where you have like a number of continues that you can use through the game.
Like the old school.
You start like if Streets of Rage, I think, something like that, where you have it's a cooperative game, but you only have between the two of you like 5 opportunities to do the continue and get 3 new lives.
Back in the day when console gaming actually had a limited amount of continues to use.
Right. There was if you played 45 hours, you literally played from start to finish 45 hours and never stopped. Or just hit pause.
Save. You don't save. There's no save.
There's no saves. Yeah. I think like Streets of Rage or Fatal Fury or something along those lines, like a side-scrolly team combat
Could
game.
have been Double Dragon.
Didn't the Sonic games do that? Like
Maybe.
the pairing only had a certain, but I guess he's actually defining something even different.
no, that's what I would define as a true co-op game in that sense, is that you are cooperatively playing this game. If one person is not fulfilling their role, not backing up the other person, they're dying more, that affects how the other person can play, because you can't, oh, well, I can die here because I'll move up the stage with you later. No, because you've died 6 times at the first...
Right.
The first.
I feel like there's a
page of
more
the game.
current example of that.
Super Mario Party.
There we go.
No, it's not what I was thinking.
Mario Party.
So Mario Party has an aspect. I know that the Mario Party 10, I think, is what we have at home for the Wii U. There is a versus Bowser platform where somebody can play as Bowser or the computer can play as Bowser, and then it's the other 4 people all trying to accomplish the same goals together. However, everybody starts with the same number of lives, but your lives are determined individually. So if you're playing Luigi and Princess Peach is on your team and Princess Peach has lost all 5 of her lives, she is no longer in your cart to help you roll dice. Now, they have added an element to the game where on her turn, she gets to punch a special die box that will allow you to have a special die for your team to use. But in general, it's kind of... And the reason I bring this up now that I think about it is if Princess Peach is out of the game, but you come up on a zone where everybody gets 2 additional lives, it gives her 2 lives, and she comes back in. So that is it's not exactly what you're
I'm
asking.
thinking of a life pool game.
Right. Where you have 100 lives.
Where the stakes are, if you die 6 times, I can't die.
Right. Yeah.
I can honestly say I've never seen that.
Monster
I
Hunter's,
have seen
Monster
it, but
Hunter's,
I don't remember.
Monster Hunter's kind of like that.
Is it? I've never played Monster
So,
Hunter.
like, if you're fighting a monster with a team of people, and all someone has to do is die 3 times before the mission's failed. So it's kind of similar.
It's kind of similar, but in the same aspect, everybody could die twice.
No, I'm saying 3
And-
deaths and then it's over.
Oh.
Doesn't matter what 3. I think that does fit.
So
with
a
that.
so a combination of 3 people dying at some. It could be the same person or 3 individual people having died during that objective, and
the
it
mission's
fails.
failed. Yeah.
That to me would be like pure co-op.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really, that's legit.
So, anyways,
So that's the solo, folks.
Yeah. So for the people who like playing co-op games, we'll go ahead and start with Joshy.
I'm going to take a nap.
That's fine. Why do you prefer to play solo games over... I'm sorry, why do you prefer to play co-op games or small group games over playing solo games?
the extrovert in me enjoys the time with others, for one. In a lot of cases, even single player games that I've played, like the Uncharted series, I think I enjoy playing it with somebody else in the room more than I do playing it by myself. there's a couple reasons for that. With the cooperative game, we're able to help each other looking for things. Like I remember us playing Diablo 3 when it launched on the PlayStation 4. We did not ever finish the game, but when we were sitting, either Deb and I, or Deb, myself, Tim, and Carrie would sit down, or Deb, myself, Lance, and Vanessa we'd just go and play, and we'd be laughing at each other for, oh my gosh, I can't believe you just fell off of that, or oh my god, do you seriously have undead dogs that are going out there and attacking? And and by us being particularly in the room and that couch co-op, which that's a different discussion or whatever, that couch co-op I love because you get that personal interaction with people. You can laugh, scream, sometimes kill friendships. Like I love the Super Mario Wii games. I know there can be frustrating, but because of the difficulty comments we've made before, like on Zombicide, just because it's difficult makes me want to play it more.
Sure.
Particularly with other people. By myself, I'll tend to give up. I'm not gonna lie, but with an Uncharted game, having another person or two in the room that has eyes on everything else when you're focused kind of on the railroad that is the story. With an Uncharted game, there's treasures everywhere and secret doors around. Hey, is there something around that corner? And I may not see it, but somebody else in the room might. So for me, the cooperative element is, yes, about kind of sharing the personal moments and that emotional extrovert side of me. But even playing a single player game, having more people there, or at least a couple of other people going, hey, pay attention to that, or oh, he's going to shoot you from up there. It's like having an additional set of eyes.
You could also, if you're getting frustrated because you can't pass a certain point, hand off the controller. Right. And someone can say, hey, let me try.
Yeah.
You can't do this. Let me try. Let me see if I can push that button just a split second sooner than you are and make it through.
Like trying to calibrate Rock Band.
Oh, goodness.
That was insane. My brother, Josh and I's youngest brother and his girlfriend Katie came over, and for 25 minutes, they just tried to calibrate.
I was trying to calibrate.
Just
That's all I was
calibrate.
trying to do. It was it's like a level. I just couldn't beat it.
It was insane. And it's just a metronome.
Yeah.
And you just follow the
It
metronome.
didn't change pace. It stayed the same the whole time.
You just hit the strum on the up and down
Well, that's
beat.
why, because it went past your threshold of I'm interested in this.
Yeah, that's it. He lost interest in the metronome as soon as it came on the screen. Yeah, it was very entertaining.
I literally tried it 6 times before I just gave up and handed it off and said, I'm done with this.
I am done with this. Oh my God. Lance, you enjoy playing kind of smaller, intimate co-op games.
Not solos.
Not solos.
The reason for that, I think, is because of the stage of life that I'm in. When I was a younger man, living alone, single and solo player games were what I preferred because there weren't people around. Or if there were, maybe we didn't share the same interests. Now I'm surrounded by my family, my young children, and my wife. Or if I get the opportunity, then several friends at a time. If I'm by myself, which is rare, I could watch a movie and enjoy it and not have to be distracted from it. If I'm going to play a game, I want to have people there to play with. It just makes it that much more entertaining for me. Last time we talked about Spotlight. I'm not a big in the spotlight alone person. I like to share that and make sure that everyone's having a good time. Playing Munchkin with my daughter, even Mancala or chess with my daughter, the spotlight gets to be on each person. And I think that's important, especially teaching people games and getting people to keep enjoying games more is you make it about them for that little bit of time. So going back, more of the small group games just because that's the stage I'm at now. I'm with people that play games, and I can do other things with my time if I'm alone.
Okay. Kind of sitting back and listening to what everybody's saying and thinking about it myself. I think what I like and what I prefer more about playing in a small group or co-op game where there's 2 to 4 players is that everyone has an opportunity to influence the game, and their character or their skills or skill set can shine as I'll go back to the example that I used earlier. My brother and I, Prime and I, we really love playing Army of Two. We are very different Army of Two players when we play. Josh likes to play the big, heavy armored, heavy gunner, walking around with the saw upgraded to the max, shooting. He just goes out into the middle of a hall. Yes, and I enjoy, twinking out my AR and kind of hanging back in the cut with a nice scope and just picking people off that are trying to snipe him as he's walking through the hallway with just mowing people down. So I think what I enjoy about playing co-op group games is it allows for, and I think we touched on this a little bit in our last episode, it allows for you to kind of see what everyone's skills are in. It allows you to kind of decipher where people are at in their own psyche when it comes to how they want to execute the completion of this objective or goal. I think games like Mario Wii, the reason those games stress me out, and probably more than anything because of the fact that I watch my 8-year-old and 6-year-old play them, because they are not super invested in, or super practiced, I should say, in communicating and actually helping each other. They both want to finish the level. Like that's just it. They both want to finish and get to the end versus actually completing the pieces of the puzzle throughout the level. Josh and I, when we play,
100%.
We're like, okay, we're playing.
I'll be up here, you'll be down here.
Yeah.
And
we play
it's
like
almost
that
unspoken.
Yoshi Woolly World, and I'm like, okay, don't look at me like that, Lance. It's just a game.
It's great.
It's a very, very fun game, but it only plays 2-player co-op.
Like Little Big Planet?
Yes,
Sort of.
But Yoshi.
Sort of. Yeah.
Like they're little crocheted Yoshi dudes. And so Josh and I will sit down. We'll watch my two oldest play this game in frustration because they just want to get to the end of the level and say that they completed it, which I think is great. If I can tell the difference in maturity of a gamer by how they play their game. If the only goal is to get to the end, which I can remember being a young kid and playing Super Mario World on the Super Nintendo, that was the first experience I had with the Mario genre, with side-scrollers and things like that with Super Mario World. For Josh and I growing up, that was our goal. We wanted to finish the level. After we had finished the game, we went, wait, there's a lot more content here that we could play. And that, I think that was like our first real introduction into being a completionist when it came to games and finding all the little secrets and all the hubs that you didn't know were there. And really, I think it was a major influence that my uncle had on us because he was, my uncle is, I think, in his early 50s. So when he introduced us to what video games were, it was Final Fantasy on the NES, and it was going to the arcade and playing the X-Men 6-man video game for 4 hours and spending $30 in quarters on that game. It was those kind of experiences that I would later call back on and go, okay, this is the kind of video gamer I'm going to be. This is the kind of gamer that I want to be. Is I want to find all the cool things, the hidden stuff. Now, it really just depends on the amount of time that I have to invest in the game. But like I played through Force Unleashed 2 not too long ago, and I had completed Force Unleashed 2 probably 4 or 5 years ago. But then I just happened to get my find the box after we moved. My wife and I moved in July, and I found the box that had a bunch of my old 360 games in it, and I pulled that one out, and I was like, I'm going to play this game. I have not played this game in forever. And I turned it on, and then it was like all of these little things that I had not focused on the first time I walked through it. And then my kids, of course, are sitting next to me watching me play the Star Wars game and loving it. And they're like, "What's that, Daddy?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's a Sith holocron, son." Like
That makes you stronger.
You
It
know.
gives you a different colored lightsaber.
Yes, it does.
The first game I can remember arcade-wise that had me like, ooh, what's the different ending, or what's that? I haven't tried this. Was Dragon's Lair.
Okay.
It was for those of you that don't know, the first Laserdisc video game that was in arcades, and you played a knight that was trying to save a princess from a dragon. But it was a choose your own adventure. Like, you had to hit the joystick at the right direction at just the right time, or you would die.
Yeah.
And every death scene was different. And if you died, you didn't start back where you were. You went all the way back to the beginning, and you had to make all the right choices at all the right times until you made it to the end. But there were lots of different ways to die. So
Yeah.
you got to see them all,
Yeah.
and you had to memorize the pattern. And then they came out with Dragon's Lair 2, and then there was like the space version of it. So that company definitely made their money. You can now buy those games on like the PlayStation Store.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
So
it is
it's-
$20 on the PlayStation 4, and it's the Dragon's Lair trilogy. It has all 3 games.
Oh,
for 20
that's
bucks.
awesome. For 20
So-
bucks?
I will
Yeah, man.
recommend
It's-
that.
The original is $10 for Xbox 360, backwards compatible to Xbox One.
So for all my old school arcade gamers, I'll recommend that. For you young people that are kind of completionists or don't know what it's like to have to start a game from the very beginning, I recommend trying it. I really
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, I think that's what I really love. And so I acquired an NES several years ago. Unfortunately, it does not work. But I have a stack of probably 30 NES games at home. And so I'm more than likely going to be getting like a Retron 2 or Retron 3.
I recommend it.
Because, one, they are HDMI compatible, which means I can plug it into my current TV. And two, because I have Super Nintendo and NES games that I can play on both of them on the same console. But that's what I loved about watching, like playing Ninja Gaiden on NES or playing Mega Man on the original Mega Man on NES. It's like if you died, you start at the very beginning every time. I watched some YouTube video a while back.
Yeah, it was the kids play.
Oh my gosh!
I
That
showed that to
cracked
our
me
group.
up. They're like, "Well, there's no save point." I'm like, and I just laughed. I'm like, millennial gamers,
Welcome to Mega Man.
millennial gamers,
Oh,
save points.
what is this weirdness you discuss?
I think honest to goodness, one of the first games I can remember having a save point was Super Mario World.
That was
And
going to
it
say
had
world.
It had the flag in the middle. If you got to the middle of the board, it was
That
like,
wasn't even a save point. That was a checkpoint.
It was a checkpoint. That's true.
But at least-
but if you went back and played that level, or if you died, you'd start back at that point.
And then once you beat a fort, you got the option to save and continue.
that's true.
That is-
Legend of Zelda had save points.
Did it? Okay.
Okay, I didn't remember.
I never
that
played
one.
Legend of Zelda.
I have not played Legend of Zelda.
Did Mario 3 have
Ever.
save points?
That's not true. I started playing.
Yes.
I had
Yes,
save
after you defeat a
continue after
world.
you beat level.
After you beat a
Ocarina of
world,
Time.
right. But if you were in the middle of 7 and you died,
Yeah.
man, that stunk.
The one you're looking for would be a Retron 3, I
Okay.
believe, or the Retron HD. The
Okay.
Retron HD they just came out with. It's a Nintendo one only, though, but it is definitely an HD gaming console. The
If you own Retron and would like us to, I don't know, give you a review,
Yes.
Actually, the Retron 5 wouldn't be a bad option for you either, because it does Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, Game Boy, SNES, NES, Super Famicom, Famicom, Genesis, Mega Drive, and Master System. And it's $130.
and makes julienne fries.
And it takes all the original controllers, as well as comes with 2 wireless controllers.
But
that
does
are
it do?
eh.
Does it do Jaguar?
The links.
That's the question.
So are we still on topic, or did we really go down a rabbit trail?
We
of-
are.
of-
We are.
We did some advertising.
Okay, I was gonna say.
Welcome to Alice in Wonderland.
Woo.
Deborah, dear,
I was putting my child to laying him down. If you want to know the truth,
Why do you prefer solo games?
She's already talked
I've
about
already
already
answered that. You want me to answer it again?
Oh, that's right, you did. Sorry.
Yeah, I was early. Yeah.
This is
Sorry.
why we like solo games.
Yeah.
This is why you like-
They
have
are
to remember
they
that
are
we-
parents of a at this point 3-week-old, so
Yes.
forgive their brains for going mush.
Yeah.
It's bad
Pretty
when
much.
Josh has worse mommy brain than Deb does.
Just right now.
Well, he's trying to get me included, which is a wonderful thing, and I'm very grateful for it. However, yeah, I did answer that. But I mean, I do like some co-op games. We have a couple. The Harry Potter adventure card game I really like that game. Pathfinder adventure card game is another one that I really enjoy playing those.
You can play that solo.
You can play it solo, and I have played it solo actually. But it is nice that in a co-op setting, that's a pretty fun one. However, you do have a helper. You do face the same struggle, though, because if you have a fighter and you have a cleric, and the cleric can't roll anything decent for the heals, they're rolling a 1 every single time.
Right.
The fighter's going to go down, and then that's all she wrote. So there is still that. You've got to hold up your end for this to work, and if the dice don't like you that day. The Harry Potter adventure card game I enjoy, but the problem with that game, if it's a problem, is it actually gets harder the more people you have in it because of the mechanic. Because every single time someone takes a turn, you have to reveal a dark arts. And if there's only 2 players, that's only 2 dark arts per round. If there are 4 players, that is 4 dark arts that have been revealed before you get a turn.
That's true. However, the only time we have
I've never beaten it year 7 with 4. I cannot beat it with.
We played it last week.
Okay.
We played it 3 weeks ago.
Okay, fair enough. Whatever.
And beat
One
it
of those.
with 4.
Did you beat year 7?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That was the only way
that was the only way we could do
people.
it was with 4 people.
Okay.
See, because she and I beat it with 2.
Yeah, we beat it with 2. I
We're
struggled with
convinced
4.
that you probably didn't play the right rules.
Yeah, you cheated. You had to have cheated. Yep, you cheated. Cheater.
The same issue with 5-year mission.
No, I really don't.
Yeah.
That game.
Mission.
Oh, man.
The fewer
Yeah.
players you have, the
better-
more opportunities
yes.
you have to
Now that
succeed.
one I can
Yes.
totally agree with 100%.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
fewer people you have, the better.
If 2 players for that game is fine. 3 players is really kind of the sweet spot for that game.
Yeah, for sure.
5 players for that game.
Ooh.
It's tough.
Yuck.
So tough.
Yuck. So,
I
okay, so I need
still
you guys to
remember back.
teach me how to beat the Harry Potter adventure card game
Sure.
before it was set.
leave it
You're
in
in
the
year
Luck of
7.
the draw.
Oh, okay.
Literally.
Thank you.
That's what he kept telling me.
It's
He's
really
like, it's
just
all
how-
luck. And the
it's
thing
really
for him,
how
he's
the
like, that's not fair.
The villains stack up. It's how
And
it-
It's how the
So-
villains stack up
yeah.
and then what items you get when you get them.
Right. And do you have enough money to get some of those items?
And-
Dumbledore comes out and
how
he's 8.
quickly
You can't afford him.
Yeah, how quickly you can take out the Horcrux. Because when,
Yeah.
like the first Horcrux, you can remove 3 or 2.
discard 2 cards to remove one from a location.
Yeah.
To remove one from a location. And that
Yeah.
is, I
Killer.
use that at least like 7 times in that game.
Arithmancy.
Thank you. Yeah.
Arithmancy is also one of my new proficiencies in that game that I
Okay.
really like because
Okay.
it allows you to purchase people from the marketplace that allow you to roll a house die for 1 less, and you can re-roll that house die when you roll it.
That's that. Yeah, I can see
Yeah,
that
yeah,
too.
yeah.
Okay.
And there's
Yeah.
also a benefit to having more players with that game because of the fact that the Horcruxes can be spread around.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Rather than just one person having them all or 2.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Which
that
when
makes
Bonnie
sense.
and I played it we played it 2-player. I played Neville Longbottom with Arithmancy, and so I was healing, and
Yep.
I literally took out the Horcruxes in 3 turns.
Wow. Okay.
Because I picked up a couple of the History of Hogwarts books
Yep.
because they allow you to roll a house die. They
Right.
cost you 1 less.
Right.
So I picked those up really early, and then I was also able to pick up Cho Chang, and Luna Lovegood.
Yes.
So I was rolling Ravenclaw die at the very beginning of the game really early,
'Kay.
and that allowed me to take out 2 of the Horcruxes
Very
very
early.
and then basically you just use them to continue to fuel. And with Arithmancy, I'm re-rolling.
Right.
I also had Ron
The problem
Weasley.
that we ran into is we didn't have enough combat power to continue to kill villains.
yeah.
That was the hard, it's the
yeah.
balance.
It is the
Well,
balance.
that-
you can
yeah, I was
heal,
gonna
but you
say,
got to be able to
'cause
kill.
That was the benefit of having Ron Weasley was the fact that you could
Right.
get that attack power.
Yeah,
Right.
because
Yeah.
the more he attacks, the benefit.
And
he heals
Yeah,
when he attacks
And I
more.
also had that special card that lets you, whenever a dark arts or a villain makes you discard, then everyone gains. Was it 2 hearts?
Yeah, defense against the dark arts.
Yeah, the defense against the dark arts
You gain a
proficiency.
heart and a fight.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's what it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you gain a heart
All right.
and a fight.
So
And-
thank you all out there for all the hints because I needed the hints because, as I
Yeah.
said,
Well, and I mean,
I've
I think
lost
that
more-
even though we
many
kind of
times with that
deviated
one.
for a minute, I think that observation is a really good observation on what makes a really good co-op experience.
yes.
When you're playing a game that is a real cooperative game, like what is the Legendary? When you're playing Legendary,
Yeah.
not Marvel Legendary, because Marvel Legendary still has, which I really like, but a lot of people don't play with the competitive rule, where you basically add up all your villain that you defeated points and whoever has the most wins. But the actual Legendary Encounters games, I really like those Legendary Encounters games because they are so open to promoting cooperative play. When you play Firefly, when you play Predator, when you play Alien, you really have to work together, because if you don't work together and you lose a teammate, now it's even harder for you to continue to try and win.
Right.
We played Aliens Encounters when it first came out, and literally there were 4 of us playing that game, and that game
Within
lasted
3 rounds, we're dead.
3 rounds, because it was, I think,
Luck of the draw.
Yeah,
That's-
I think it was luck of the
sounds
draw. I
dreadful.
think it was experience and lack of that, and the fact that none of us could help each other out,
Right.
because it was so quick.
Yeah.
I think that obviously there's merit to both individual gaming, cooperative, small group gaming. Lance brought up Gauntlet earlier. That's a really fun game. Or Diablo 3 is kind of a modern twist on that, like party up style co-op gaming and stuff. I think that's really cool. Some of my... I want to go around real quick and similar to what we did in the last episode, let's highlight one of our favorite solo games and one of our favorite small group co-op games. And we'll go ahead and start with Prime on this one.
So I'm going to say my favorite solo game, one of my favorite is... that's a tough one. Because I like Mass Effect and I like The Witcher. But I would say since I had never played the first Witcher, I'm probably just going to go with the Mass Effect series.
Okay.
But I do like the Assassin's Creed one too. It's so good. Anyways, I'll go with the Mass Effect one. So.
And what about co-op?
As far as co-op, Army of Two is probably my favorite co-op. So,
Joshy?
The Uncharted series, from a video game perspective, by far.
it's really good too.
And then cooperatively, I'm struggling in this, but I'm gonna go with the WWE video game series. Those are fantastic to play from a video game
Can
perspective.
you do a co-op storyline with that game?
Not yet. No, but
I think that would
just
be
getting
neat.
in and playing, we're tagging
yeah.
up, we're creating
Oh,
our
yeah.
characters, it's just
Tornado tag elimination style. Let's see how quickly we can kick these dudes' butts.
that's right.
Yeah.
I wanted to say Madden, but there have been too many times where we all get just extremely frustrated at each other for that game.
I just thought of a game that you might maybe contention to your WWE game, but I'll bring it up.
Okay.
On my turn.
Now there are plenty of board games and so forth. Like the Pathfinder Adventure card game is really good from a cooperative perspective. I agree with Legendary, the whole Legendary series. I'm not against the competitive side either, but when we've always played it cooperatively, so it's. But yeah, I think I enjoy sitting down and playing a good video game, especially if there's only like 2 or 3 of us. But with my wife, I'll play whatever she asks.
Good man. Debbie?
Well, so for the solo, again, I play a different, I don't play PS4, I play Nintendo, and
Sure.
I have to say I am a ridiculously huge Mario Kart fan, to the point that I'm a completionist. So I'm currently on the 150cc trying to get all 3 stars on, that's me. So I will sit there and I will play Mario Kart for hours and I wear my battery out and just playing it over and over again. And that you really can't, that's every man for himself. When you have 2 or 3 players, there's not really anything cooperative about Mario Kart. So I love that game. And it's all about me and my skill and can I get faster and how can I use my items better and how can I, how can I tweak my cart a little bit better to be a little bit faster. So I love it. So that's mine. Cooperative, I already named several of them that I love. I love the Pathfinder Adventure card game. Because each person has their own niche, but all the pieces have to work together to be able to get through each scenario. So that's a really good example. And I also really like the Harry Potter card game. if I can beat year 7. That's obviously what you guys know about me now. And I also like it's an independent one, but I like The Captain is Dead.
The Captain is Dead.
The Captain is Dead is a fun one, and I'm looking. And the reason I'm looking right behind Dawn, I was staring at her, going and all this, and I went, "Oh, The Captain is Dead," which is a fun co-op one.
Really fun co-op game.
Yeah, and it's also every character has their own little shtick, and you're basically Star Trek characters, and I'm a Star Trekkie. So those 3 are ones that I like co-op wise. Board game, card game.
So I would have to say, because I'm not one to normally play a solo board game, I'm definitely going to default back to kind of the video game standard that we have been juggling around with other games that we talked about. I would have to say my favorite solo game is definitely Assassin's Creed. And everything about it. I mean, and I know that there are some people that, even fans of Assassin's Creed, that are not necessarily the biggest fan of the very first one, because it's a lot of repetitive missions and things like that. Like, it's very rinse and repeat. But in general, I really love the story of Altair and the Apple of Eden, and how all of that progresses with Desmond and stuff. And that is a very, very cool storyline. Group co-op gaming, there are so many that I can think of that I really love.
Sure.
Zombicide is probably one of my top picks. The Dungeons and Dragons adventure game that we have not mentioned is really good. Any of them.
Sure.
We have yet to beat Temple of Elemental Evil, and I think we've played it 5 times, and we've lost every time. Trying to think of The Captain is Dead, as Debbie said, is a fantastic cooperative game, and with really good. I really love the way that The Captain is Dead scales as well. The further into the game you go, the harder it gets. So if you don't work efficiently in the beginning, it can hurt you, closer towards the end of that game. I'm trying to think if there are any other ones that Pandemic is probably one of my favorite co-op games. So yeah, I mean, and for anybody who is in the market for either one, I know the last 2 episodes we talked a lot about different groups of gamers and what is efficient for what kind of a group. Honestly, I am always of the opinion, and I think that everybody at the table right now could probably agree with me, I really like having a couple, 3 games for each different type of experience, each different type of group size.
Yes.
There are going to be times when there's only 2 of you. You need to have a good 2-player game.
Sometimes Josh and I still struggle with that. No, you can do we've got Pathfinder Adventure card game. We had a 2-player game with that.
Well, but
other times it's like it's a 3 to 5, and it's like we don't have a third person. Darn it. So Maggie's not old enough.
Bonnie and I are huge classic card gamers. And that is, you're never going to not have an opportunity to play a 2-player game with just a standard 52 deck
of cards,
52 card deck.
True.
I definitely encourage anybody who suffers from, not being able to have that specific thing. You don't need anything as super crazy and strategic as like Attack Wing, but if that's your style, that's a good heads-up 2-player game. Magic the Gathering is another really good 2-player game, especially if you help each other build decks and you like to play those kind of games together. And then there's tons of 2 to 4 player cooperative games, 2 to 4 player competitive games. I mean, that's kind of the niche for board games in general.
Yeah.
I think is about the 2 to 4 player mark. We at the Established Tracks definitely encourage you to kind of play around with the different group sizes, and even if you only ever go to somebody else's house to play games, like we have a friend, our friend Natasha Warnicka, she owns Telestrations. And on occasion, she'll probably play Telestrations with her brothers and sisters, but in general, she brings that game with her when she goes to different places because it's a really good group game and it's super easy. Telestrations, if you have not played it, is a lot of fun, and it's a very easy game to play. But in general, definitely try and find what is your favorite group to kind of group size to play with, and really invest in some good games in that size. But then also kind of branch out and grab some stuff that'll work for 2, 3, 4 player, or even 15, 16, 17 if you're into like really big groups of gaming and stuff like that. So that being said, on episode 167 of the Established Facts, we established large and in charge or tiny and shiny. Group games are fun, so throw your innuendo out the window. That was our fact for episode 167. Our fact for episode 168 is Pong.
Oh, that's it? Oh,
That's
okay,
it.
okay, I love that.
That's it. Pong.
Okay.
Just Pong.
It's like 3 episodes in a row with a paragraph and
That's
then
right.
one word.
That's why I did it.
Pong.
Pong.
Oh, so now it's the gong sound? Pong.
Ping, ping, pong.
All right. Thank you so much for listening to episode 168 of the Established Facts, and we will check you later.
Bye.
Deuces.
Please visit us at www.theestablishedfacts.com and our Facebook page, facebook.com/theestablishedfacts. If you would like to support us by buying some merchandise, visit cafepress.com/castingrobot.
Bonus.